Hey everybody, Ron IPAC here, and welcome to the Hump Day Chat.
Hey, we
Jerry, how the
missed
hell are you?
last week. I'm good. We missed last week. You were sunbathing in Mexico.
Yes, I was soaking up as many of those harmful rays before they hit the earth. So I was down saving you all. I was just absorbing those things like a superhero, so it didn't pummel the earth with those harmful UV rays. You're welcome. So,
Tequila and ice had nothing to do with it.
I'm rested, ready to rock
Right.
and roll. So hopefully everybody's having a really, really good summer. As we are talking today, we had our 4th of July. So this is a short week that we're in. So hopefully everybody's got all their fingers and toes. I have most of mine, just set off the wrong firework at the wrong time. Never know. But anyway, we got a great conversation for you today because this is something, even though we've been talking about this a lot on these Hump Day chats, and if you're on my email list, you've probably been getting my emails and things. It's all about your prices going up, at the cost of everything being more expensive. And are you pricing what it is that you're doing appropriately? And the reason why I'm kind of bringing this back is, even though, I don't know, Jerry, does it sound like, do you feel every time that we're like almost a broken record, we're talking about raising your prices, right?
Yeah, and I think why is because we're under some unprecedented times here. Inflation keeps going up. Everything is going up, 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 and now is the opportune time to raise your prices. So it's not like we're just saying, hey, raise your prices. What we're saying is now's the time to capitalize on it, to make sure that you're keep an eyeball on your numbers, your net profit, making sure it's staying consistent.
Yeah, and we've talked about that on past calls. Like, people are less sensitive to the cost going. I mean, everybody's sensitive to cost going up, but when you're constantly driving by a gas station and the price is going up and up, and everything you're buying is going up and up and up. If you're not riding that wave up, and again, this is for those that are squeamish about raising their prices, because Lord knows for the past 20, 30, 40 years, I think auto repair has been way underpricing what they really should. And this is really an opportunity for those that are squeamish to be able to raise your price, but it's not because of that alone. I think it's out of necessity you need to do that. So what really got this started is, yesterday I was talking with a potential client on the phone, and, we got into the subject of pricing because, he was noticing he's taking on less money than he ever did before. And while his costs are going up, he wasn't adjusting his pricing properly. And he started talking about, well, how he priced his services is he would call around. He didn't want to call necessarily all the shops in the area, which a lot of people do. He was at least calling the dealership because he felt that they were going to be the most expensive. So at least he have a little better gauge on there. But I think it's important. And the reason why I want to talk about this today is because I think, some of you may have this already handled, but some may have no idea how they should be setting their prices. So Jerry, you are what I call the numbers ninja. This is a guy who, I think he was born with one of these things in his hand. His binky that he was sucking on as a little child looked like this. So he learned that he didn't speak. He typed on a calculator. Okay. So he speaks numbers. So Jerry, help us out here. How do we set prices? What's the best thing that you could possibly do?
Well, you mentioned, let me talk about some of the things not to do first. You
Sure.
mentioned that shop owner went ahead and called the dealer, and that's what most people do. Most people use what I call Oreo cookie pricing. So that's how they set their prices, just like an Oreo cookie. And if you've ever had an Oreo cookie, they don't want to be the little wafer on the top. That would be really bad if they were the most expensive in the neighborhood. And they don't want to be the cheapest. They don't want to be the brown wafer on the bottom. They try to be that smooth filling, the frosting in the middle. And so what do? They call around and they do, if you want to call it a calculated pricing survey, they call a few, they hit first, they block their number on their phone, and then they call other places and ask them, what an oil change is, what a cost of labor is, all of those types of things, labor rates, et cetera. And then they determine what their pricing should be. And that's about the worst possible way you can set your pricing, because you see, most shop owners, and this is no disrespect, most of them never took a college course. Most of them didn't take accounting. They're technicians. They love what they do, and they're great at fixing cars. Maybe not so great at running a business. And the point I'm trying to make here is, if the guy down the street is going broke or working his ass off for little or no money, and you're going to call him and he's going to tell you what his labor rate is, why would you want to set yours there? I know there is a lot of different ways to set your pricing, but let's just talk about, inflation was up 8.6%. So a dollar doesn't buy what a dollar did before. I don't know about you, but I look, price of oil. I think they said it's gone up $6 since October. When was the last time you raised your oil change prices? Or did you say, oh my goodness, I can't raise it because the shop down the street is still $39.95. And if I do that, they're going to get all the business. That's just crazy thinking. Your numbers need to tell you what you should be charging. So you need to set your prices off of what you're paying your technicians, what your expenses are, your cost of business. A couple of just really quick pointers that I would say. So I know a lot of shop owners, I don't know why, but they're squeamish about raising their prices. They're timid. Sometimes when I'm on the phone with somebody, they said, well, I raised my labor rate, $3.12. God forbid they go over that $100 range or that $80 range. I mean, they take these little teeny baby steps, and I guess some is better than none, but let your expenses and your cost to technicians determine what your labor rate should be, what your price margin should be, all of that. So you need to become, you don't have to become the numbers ninja, but you need to be paying close attention to what your margins are. I look at a P&L every month, and I'm just kind of looking to make sure everything stays within range. A couple of maybe helpful hints that I thought might help you. One, make sure that you decide on a price matrix. I know, Ron, we've talked about a price matrix a lot. So come up with your parts matrix, whatever that is for your business. I'm not going to tell you what it should be, but decide on how you're going to price your parts, and it should be cost up pricing, right? This is what I pay for it, and I'm using some type of multiplier. You need a price matrix, and stick to it. There's no adjustment. The price is what the price is. So the great thing about cost up pricing, let's just say oil went up $1 a quart. Well, because since I'm using cost up pricing, it's going to take that and determine the retail price off of my cost. You get it? So many people use like dealer list prices or whatever the parts store says is the retail price. No, they're setting the price. You need to set the price. So cost up pricing. Second thing, monitor your labor rate. A little trick that might help you. It works for me. If labor is going to have to go up, your labor rates are going to have to go up. Look at what your cost to acquire a qualified technician is today. It's if you haven't looked lately, and I'm sure you all have, it takes a lot more now to get good help. And when it comes to a technician, it takes a lot more. The best people need to be paid well. So you need to raise your labor rates, and you need to keep up with that. A trick that might make it a little more manageable to you, come up with a quarterly increase. For me, I raised my labor rate $8 a quarter. So I raised it $32. I plan on raising it $32 this year, $8 a quarter. Again, it's a little more palatable, kind of goes underneath the radar. Does a customer notice that a brake job is going to be $12 more or whatever that is? Of course not. So again, that is a little more palatable for most shops than you just come in and you go up $35 and rip the Band-Aid off. So that might be one thing that helps you. And then the last thing that I think that this is so important, but watch the most important number in your business. And do you know what that is? It's gross profit dollars. And what I mean by that is you need to know, I call it a win. What is my win number? And I have it as a daily win number. And that's the amount of profit dollars, not sales. Sales doesn't mean anything. It's the amount of profit dollars, because that's what you pay your bills with. Your business requires to pay all of your expenses, including your employees. And if you want to consider parts and all of that, although technically that's not an expense, but all of your expenses plus a fair return on your investment. What is that number for you? Is it $8,000 a week, $10,000 a week, $3,000 a week? You need to dive into the numbers a little bit and figure that out, and then make sure that you're watching that and you're achieving and hitting that number each and every day.
And what I really, the point here is get the number that's right for you in what you expect out of your business, the kind of employees you have, the shop that you maintain, the quality of service that you have, the lifestyle that you want to live. Because two shop owners right across the street from each other could live totally different lifestyles. Same kind of customer, same kind of car, same neighborhood, same economy, same everything. And one guy is doing well. He's very comfortable. He gets to go where he wants, when he wants, with whoever he wants, and have enough money to go and do that. The guy across the street working 80 hours a week, busting his butt, wondering how come he can't seem to get ahead. It's because the guy that's doing it is doing the right thing for him and his business. The guy across the street is comparing himself to everybody else that doesn't know what they're doing. It's just, it's like pricing incest, what's happening out here. The guy calls the guy down the street, and that's a bad price. He matches that. And it's just like in real incest, certainly people are going to wind up getting really stupid. They keep copying each other, just like, a rubber stamp of somebody over and over and over and over again. You got to break that cycle, and as I said in the very beginning of this, the chat here, this is your opportunity to make it right, to get back all those years of undercharging because you've been timid possibly to raise your price. I'm not saying gouge or anything, but now you also realize the value of your business. People are not buying new cars. People are not buying used cars. They're fixing the cars they have right now. It's a supply and demand here. Charge what you're worth and live the lifestyle you're worth. Otherwise, you're just going to keep that, over and over and over again, working real hard with very little to show for it.
Yeah. I think so many times. Yeah, I think so many times the folks in our business, again, I always say it, I don't know of harder working people, right? Shop owners, they work their tail off, and it's about time you get paid for it. The other option is go home broke and tired and keep what's left over. And nobody wants that. So come up with a plan, determine what your number needs to be, come up with your pricing strategy, and then by God, execute it.
Stick to it, stick to it, stick to it. Thanks, everybody. Before you leave, please do me a really, really big favor. Go down below this video, click the like button, put a comment in there. Let us know what you like. And look, if you want more of this, every Wednesday, we try to have these chats. When I'm in the country, when Jerry's around, we try to have these chats. If you want more of us, every Thursday, Jerry and I get together with our War Room clients on a live call to answer questions every single week. The best questions in the world are the ones that are coming out of everybody's mouths, and you get the right answers for what's going on in your shop right now. And look, if you want a little bit more one-on-one help and work directly with Jerry, that is in our Maverick Shop Owner program. Just reach out to us, and we'll be happy to tell you a little bit more about that program. So thanks, everybody. Thanks, Jerry. Have an awesome day, and we'll see you all next week. Take care. Bye-bye.